the games this week. Now, after saying all those things about the Seahawks, watch Arizona go in and trounce them or something, right? I mean, that's just the way the NFL is this week. But let's pick our favorite game of the weekend. So, Hype, I'm going to start with you since I gave you a hard time. What's your favorite game this weekend? Which one do you want to watch?
So I'm talking about the Steelers and Chargers. I want to find out if the Steelers are legit after their game against the Colts, where they overwhelmed the Colts offensive line and beat them in the trenches. When I was just talking to my friend Sam, and I'm like, dude, I kind of root for them to do that sometimes because they have a lot of Badgers on that defense. They have like 3 starters from UW, right? And I'm like, yeah, I want those guys to do well. And their defense on paper looks really, really good, even though they're kind of old and a little bit slow. Like they should be at least a good defense, if not like a really good defense. And if they can use this game to bounce back up to have confidence and play better and whatever it is, have their focus. And if they come in and trounce the Chargers and look like a really good team, then I'm going to have some faith in them that they might be a dangerous team down the line and end up winning the division and being better than the Ravens, which could easily happen.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think that that's gonna the Steelers are gonna end up getting more confidence, or do you think it's downhill from here?
I think it's downhill, man. Sorry, I still don't believe in them.
You think that Jim Harbaugh is gonna come in and show them what's right?
The Steelers are not great at anything. And that's the problem. You have to be great at something.
They were kind of great at running the ball behind that 6-man offensive line. They pushed us around big time doing that. Yeah. But it's hard to keep that up. You know what I mean? I don't think they could consistently do it.
I don't know. And even if the Steelers win this game, right? Even if the Steelers win this game, which is possible, I still think week to week, you're never going to know what you're going to get from that defense. I don't believe the defense turned it around. I mean, it was 5 turnovers. But in that game, the Colts were still moving the ball. It was just bad turnovers, and it was like a Daniel Jones party, right?
But the thing is, when you analyze the tape, the defensive line of the Steelers was doing pretty well against the offensive line of the Colts.
So, okay, guys, the Steelers had 225 total yards in this game, and the Colts had 370. And the Colts actually had 6 turnovers to the Steelers 1 turnover, and they lost by 7 points. 5 turnovers, and you lost by 7 points.
They still did cause turnovers and havoc in the backfield.
No, respect, but
they made Daniel Jones look kind of bad.
I know, but that doesn't happen every week. And again, Daniel Jones still put up decent yards against him, but made bad plays, or and the Steelers made plays.
The Steelers are going to have to prove it. That was.
But what I'm saying is, the Steelers didn't beat the crap out of them, and they had 5 turnovers. You cannot tell me the Steelers are a good team. If the turnover ratio is 3-1 and you win by 7. I still have questions about how good you are. It was 6-1 and they won by 7. So I have a lot of questions.
That's totally true. But my whole point is that if you have a defensive line like the Steelers with guys that are really talented, that can cause those issues and cause the Colts offensive line has been amazing all year. And all of a sudden you have guys breaking through the line and you don't kind of know what to do. And Daniel Jones turns into Giants Daniel Jones again, because you know what I mean? So the Steelers do have the ability to do that, is my point.
It's true. And some it's week to week and it's just scheme or it's just whatever. But yeah, I think this will be a good indicator though, because the Chargers offensive line is banged up. They did just get Penning from the Saints. We'll talk about that a little bit. But I mean, if the Chargers take it to their defense and get 350 yards on them and don't turn over the ball, I think
the Steelers don't have to be amazing to win their division, right? The Steelers just have to be pretty good.
No, I don't know. The Ravens might be good now.
But we don't know it quite yet, right? We're not sure.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's transition that into my game I'm going to talk about, Doug, which is Ravens versus Vikings. Is JJ McCarthy going to do anything against this mediocre, quote unquote, Ravens defense that got some guys back but has actually started showing up? It's in Minnesota. Lamar's there. It's on turf. I mean, this is going to be a great indicator because JJ had his great 15 minutes in week 1 against the Bears, right? And then he was horrific for 3 games, basically, right? And then he comes in after this game and he has what is a decent game. He had 3 touchdowns. He made some good throws, but he still only had 145 yards passing. And I got to tell you, with this Ravens offense, I know the Vikings defense can get pressure and everything, but if there's one thing that negates pressure, it's a mobile quarterback. and Lamar's the most mobile quarterback in the NFL. So I think the Ravens are going to put up points, and I don't see any chance of JJ McCarthy keeping up with him. But this is one of those sneaky games where like the Ravens are desperate, and if they start making a mistake or two and that Brian Flores defense causes a turnover early,
which they
things
do
can
often.
just momentum can just start rolling. That's what happened in the Detroit game, guys, and they took it to Detroit and they held on. So like this Vikings team is one of those teams, even last year, when they get those early turnovers and they start getting momentum and Flores gets really aggressive on defense, this Viking team can find ways to beat teams that they maybe shouldn't have, and they're really good at that. So this might be a sneaky game that the Vikings steal from the Ravens, and if they do, it might be curtains for the Ravens.
They pretty much eliminated Gibbs out of the game. Like Gibbs did nothing against the Vikings. You know what I mean? And he's an amazing running back. And so like the Ravens are different, but I'm just saying they have the ability to do that.
This Vikings defense is excellent from the line of scrimmage to about 10 yards out. It's when you get past that 10-yard line where you can attack the Vikings, right? And again, Detroit, as good as they are, they can't attack downfield. They're more timing and tricks and just, boom, boom, boom plays. And they were all over Jared Goff in that game, all over him. But Jared Goff is a statue. Lamar Jackson is not. He is the opposite of that. So I'm not saying the Vikings can't get to him a couple times, but there's going to be a couple times where Lamar gets out and makes plays down the field. And sometimes that's all you need is a couple plays down the field. So I'm still picking the Ravens to win, but I think this could be a sneaky steal game for the Vikings if they end up getting 2 early turnovers and the Ravens get in their head and the Vikings do what they do best, right? So
a King Henry fumble in the first half will help.
Yep, something like that. The Ravens are up 3-0. Let's say they're driving, they fumble it on the 5-yard line. Minnesota picks it up, runs it back for a TD or runs it back 30, 40 yards. They get a touchdown, and they just Minnesota's really good at keeping that momentum, like once they get that big defensive play. So, yeah, Ravens got to watch out for that, but I still don't think JJ McCarthy's going to do a heck of anything in this game, but he might not have to, right? He might not have to. So
I think McCarthy's going to play not very good, but it's still going to be really close. Even if Lamar is playing great, like the Vikings defense, their team has that thing where they just keep games close all the time.
And in Minnesota, in their own stadium, their defense is even better. So the Ravens definitely have a challenge here, but this to me is a really interesting game because if the Vikings win it, they might start feeling themselves, right? And they might start being a little bit of a problem. And if the Ravens win, they're obviously kind of keeping their trajectory of potentially taking over the Steelers. But yeah, I'm really curious to see which purple team comes out on top. I hope it's the one from Baltimore, but we shall see. All right, Dave, what's your favorite game of the weekend?
Greatest game of the week is going to be the 2-6 Browns at the 1-7 Jets.
Shut up.
Give me some of that action.
Do the Jets even have players on their team anymore? I thought they traded every player for a draft pick.
Nah, just messing with you.
Their name is now the New York Draft Picks.
Right? Hey, they have an exciting future. It's just, they just got to get over their present. My game of the week is going to be the battle of the MVPs. It's going to be the 7-2 Pats at the 6-2 Bucks. You had me singing the praises of, Baker for the entire first 6 weeks of the year. He was looking fantastic, lost his wide receivers. And the Pats have just been dominating. They've been surprising everyone. They're going to be without Ramondre Stevenson. I really like to see Travion Henderson. The Bucks are difficult to run against, but hopefully this will be the game where they finally say, oh, wait, Travion, you're good on the outside. So they try to run some, run them around the outside, bounce some plays outside, get them passes on the outside just to unlock that other element. Last week, Travion played 70% of the snaps, but he still had the same amount of carries as their backup running back. People like to say he didn't get any of the carries inside of the red zone. Well, they only had 1 carry inside of the 5. So it's not really, that they don't trust Travion. It happened to be the other guy's drive. And then for the Bucks, they're going to be without, Mike Evans, of course, gone for the season. Bucky Irving has already been ruled out. And it just kind of feel like the Bucks are like, we see our division. We know that we're going to get home field advantage, at least for the first round of the playoffs. It just feels like they're just playing to get to the playoffs right now. They're not really worried about the week to week. because they're like, no, we got Baker. He can make stuff happen. And right now they are favored for that game being at home. I think that's going to be a whole lot of fun. I think Booty's already been ruled out for the Pats. So you got injuries on both sides. You have two dynamic quarterbacks. I think that's just going to be all sorts of fireworks. And I'm going to cheer for my favorite MVP, Baker. I think he'll pull it out versus a young guy. He'll just have one more out of his bag of tricks. What do you guys think?
Well, this is the Brady bunch, right, Bull? Because it's Tom Brady's former teams, and I dislike both of them. So I don't know who to cheer against, but I think I'll cheer against the Buccaneers just because they're in the NFC. So go Patriots. And I do think the Patriots will win this game just because they've been rolling, but it's at home. It is Bake Show. They could get it going, but I think the Patriots are kind of rolling right now. So I think they sneak this one out.
I think this could be the Drake May coming out party, because he's going up against Baker Mayfield, who we thought could be an MVP candidate, but their season's not going quite on schedule. And at this point right now, halfway through the season, if Drake May keeps it up and proves he can come in and beat a Baker Mayfield, he's gonna really become walking into like a superstar level quarterback kind of vibe. And we'll see, because the Buccaneers are really susceptible. They're losing to teams they shouldn't lose to, and they're not taking out teams. They're like an even worse version of how the Packers are looking at times, where they're just they don't look very good. Baker didn't
These guys actually know how to throw to their wide receivers, Dougie.
Yeah, but
they
wide receivers are hurt a lot.
They know how to use their rookie first-round wide receivers. So
they do, but they don't know how to have 18 wide receivers so that when someone gets hurt, they can just have they have 17 left. You know what I mean? The Packers are good at that.
Facts.
So the only two teams that the Bucs have lost to are the Eagles, 31-25, and they lost to the Lions. Otherwise, they beat the Niners, they beat the Seahawks, they beat the Texans, they beat the Falcons. So,
yeah, I guess it's kind of like, what have
good.
they done lately that's impressive type thing. You know what I mean? They kind of the
and
season's been
dude, even in that Saints game, Dave, their offense did not look good. Their offense has not looked good for a couple weeks. And against a Mike Vrabel defense, I don't know if you can figure it out that week. That's maybe not the week to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of me too, is Baker's not cooking right now. He's not baking, I guess. I don't know, whatever you say. So I don't know if this is the team that they're going to figure it out against. They could, though. In this year's NFL, it can happen against anybody, but
it just this is a brutal stretch for the Bucs. This is where they can go, because they have Patriots, then they go to Buffalo, and then they go to the Rams.
Yeah.
3 straight weeks. We really get to find out what
this is the thing. The last time they played a good team, they got their butts kicked by the Lions 24-9. What I mean?
The Buccaneers lose all these games and the Panthers end up winning them and taking the division.
That
just
could
saying.
happen.
I mean, the Panthers might lose by 20 to the Saints this week, for all I know, dude, because this NFL's nuts. This NFL's absolutely nuts, man. Okay,
it'll be a fun game, by the way.
That's going to be a great game to watch. And it's an early game, so it's the early games of Jacksonville, Houston, that could be good, but that could be really ugly. Buffalo should just mollywop Miami. Cleveland and the Jets should just both forfeit this game. You got the Pats and the Bucs.
Everything for draft picks.
Could they transfer that game over to ESPN so people with YouTube TV don't have to pretend or complain about not being able to get it?
Yeah, just say all but Browns and Jets games are on ESPN from now on. That'd be great, so nobody can watch